All right, we're going to go ahead and get started. I need to do a couple of housekeeping announcements real quick. First thing I need to let everyone know is that we are recording this session. The purpose of the recording is so that we can post this online, so that people can, who aren't able to be here with us live, can go back and practice this on their own time. So this is being recorded. You will not be on the recording. Your camera feed is hidden from the recording. Your mics are muted. So unless you unmute yourself and start talking, you shouldn't be on the recording, which we encourage you not to do. Um, if you have thoughts, questions, comments that you'd like to discuss, then I encourage you just to hang tight after the session ends. We'll have a few minutes, 10, 15 minutes where we can talk and do that. But for the actual practice session, we're just going to do that. Sorry, lost my train of thought there. Anyway, yeah, so we're being recorded. The second thing I want to let everybody know is that this is session is being brought to you by Evolution Mental Health Services. That's who's sponsoring this. So Evolution Mental Health Services, we offer a variety of, counseling, psychotherapy, and other specialty type services to help people with things related to their mental health, emotional health, behavioral health. And, mindfulness is a great way to improve your mental, emotional, behavioral health. So we're happy to offer this service. It's free to anyone who wants to come, as you all already know. So that's why we're doing this today. So the theme for today is going to be cultivating joy and Thanksgiving. So the idea for this comes from Thich Nhat Hanh. For those of you who are not familiar, Thich Nhat Hanh was a Buddhist monk, a Zen master who was instrumental in bringing mindfulness to the Western world, to Europe, North America, and so on, including the United States. Some people call him the father of mindfulness. I think he would probably say he's not the father of mindfulness, but he gets that title because he played such a huge role in bringing this concept and the practices to the West. So he wrote a book called The Heart of the Buddhist Teachings, and that's where the idea for today's session comes from. So if you want to learn more about that, go more in depth, that's where you can find that. So this idea of cultivating joy or cultivating Thanksgiving. So cultivating, that's like a gardening term, right? Or like a harvesting term. This is, people who an agricultural term. And so Thich Nhat Hanh talked about the idea of selective watering. Okay. So we all know if you want to grow something, you have to water it. If you want to grow a plant, that plant needs water. And so he used the analogy of a garden and deciding which seeds we want to water and which seeds we do not water. Okay. So imagine you have a garden with lots of different kinds of seeds, and you come to realize that some seeds seem to be good for the garden, nourishing to your body. Some seeds seem to be not so good for the garden or not so nourishing. And so what you want to do is the ones that are nourishing and good for the garden, you water those. And the ones that aren't so nourishing or aren't so good for the garden, all you have to do to take care of those, and by take care of, I mean get them to go away, is just not give them water. We don't have to go hacking at them, with a garden hoe or ripping things out or anything like that. Just don't water them, and eventually they'll wither and die. While the ones that you water will grow and get bigger and become more healthy. And so he related this to our emotions, And so, for instance, this idea that if we water the seeds of joy, the joy will grow. Or if we water the seeds of anger, anger will grow. If we water the seeds of gratitude, then gratitude will grow. If we water the seeds of fear or greed, then those things will grow. And you can flip that around and say, if you ignore the seeds, if you don't water the seeds of joy, then they won't grow. And if you don't water the seeds of anger, then anger won't grow. If you choose not to water the seeds of gratitude, gratitude won't grow. If you choose not to water the seeds of fear or greed, then fear or greed won't grow. So that's the idea today is we want to cultivate Thanksgiving. Probably should have said this already by now, but this is Wednesday, the day before Thanksgiving. That's why we chose this theme for today. So, with the holiday in mind, how do we cultivate Thanksgiving? So, we have to water the seeds of Thanksgiving, of gratitude, of thankfulness. So, I'll give you an example of how this works in terms of a meditation practice. And again, this comes from the book I mentioned. So, little backstory that might help. I don't like the rain. Historically, I get kind of bummed out when it rains. Um, I know not everybody's like that. Some people are, some people are not. My wife, for instance, when it rains, she likes it. For her, it's like that's good, like get cozy with a good book and, kind of chill out, have a nice, peaceful day. That's what she thinks of when it rains. I'm not like that. I'm someone who likes to uh, get out and do things, who likes to be productive. And I'm someone who I think my mood is a little bit affected by the weather as well. Um, so when I think of the rain, I think of it's going to impede my ability to be active. You know, if I go out, I'm gonna get wet, or it's gonna make the roads slick. It's gonna slow me down. It's gonna increase danger. It's all these things. Um, Plus, it's just gonna kind of, if I just sit inside with the gray skies, it just kind of bum me out a little bit. I like clear skies and sunshine. Um, but of course, it's not always like that. And I know, like logically, I know we need the rain, right? I mean, going back to the gardening thing, like I have a garden in my backyard. I like to plant things. I like for those things to grow. I like to be able to, to produce the plants I'm trying to grow here. So I know we need rain. Okay. But when the rain comes, it's never something I'm really grateful for. And so Thich Nhat Hanh talked about in his book enjoying the rain as a child, going out and playing in the rain with his brother and like I said, I'm usually when someone talks about enjoying in the rain, what comes to me is like this like ugh rain, you know. But he did this exercise about being grateful for the rain that really resonated with me. So the way it worked was basically you're just reflecting on the rain and what it does. So it works like this. So if you practice with me for just a moment, he just says, breathing in, I feel the rain. So breathing in, I feel the rain, and then breathing out, I smile at the rain. So breathing in, I feel the rain. Breathing out, I smile at the rain. And then breathing in, I know that rain brings life. Breathing out, I'm grateful for the rain. Breathing in, I know the rain brings life. Breathing out, I'm grateful for the rain. So let's do one time all the way through. Breathing in, I feel the rain. Breathing out, I smile at the rain. Breathing in, I know that rain leaves brings life. Breathing out, I'm grateful for the rain. So he did that, talked about that practice, and I practiced along because I'm trying to learn this. I'm trying to get better at it. And as I was doing that exercise, breathing in, breathing out, thinking about the rain, listening to what he was saying, for maybe the first time in my life, I felt a genuine sense of gratitude for the rain, like that warm feeling inside of myself, like, oh, the rain is good. So we want to today practice that same approach, um, but in terms of trying to cultivate Thanksgiving. So we're going to do this. Um, we're going to do it a couple different ways. The first thing we're going to do is I want you to think about something that maybe is a little difficult. So like I said, this is the day before Thanksgiving. And Thanksgiving or a holiday like this brings up a lot of different thoughts and a lot of different emotions in people. Some of those are seem pleasant. Some of those seem not so pleasant. So we're going to start with something that maybe seems not so pleasant. So think of something that might be a struggle. Maybe right now, for instance, maybe you're struggling with your job, um, and you're not real thrilled with it. Or maybe you're thinking about the holiday tomorrow. Maybe you're already around family. You're gonna be around family tomorrow, and maybe there's a certain person that you have a hard time with, that maybe you don't get along so well with. Um, I know for some families, there are, there's been a split, like a divorce or whatever. And so a holiday like this means being around someone, maybe for the kids. Maybe you have to meet with an ex to do an exchange for the holiday with the children or something like that. And that can be stressful or difficult. Whatever it is, I just want you to think about something that right now, maybe it's related to the holiday, maybe it's not. That's a little bit of a struggle, a certain situation or a certain person or relationship. And we're going to practice this exercise. So, for instance, let's say it's your job. Okay, maybe you're not thrilled with your job, but you haven't left your job because it provides you income, which you need, for your everyday needs. So the way you would practice this would be like this. You would say, okay, breathing in, I feel my job, I acknowledge my job. Breathing out, I smile at my job. Breathing in, I know my job brings needed income. Breathing out, I'm grateful for my job. Okay. So we're following that formula. First, we acknowledge the thing, we smile at the thing because the next sentence, we know what it brings us, in this case, income, and then we're grateful for that. And this doesn't mean that you can't, if your job is the thing you're using here today, it doesn't mean that you can't change jobs. Okay. It doesn't mean you can't look for something that you think would better suit you. We're just trying to, again, cultivate gratitude, thanksgiving. So you can be in a situation that you wish was a little better, but still be grateful for what you have. Okay. And that's the purpose of this first round, is we're going to practice being grateful. So if I did the example of a job, let's say it's an X. Let's say that the holiday means you have to be around an X because of the children. So the way it would work is you breathing in, I feel that relationship with my ex. Breathing out, I smile at my ex. Breathing in, I know this person gave me my child. Breathing out, I'm grateful for this person. And if you're doing a person, I want you to say the name of the person. Don't just say my ex, or don't just say my uncle or my parent or whatever. Say an actual name. That'll make it more real to you. Okay. So hopefully you have the idea. We're breathing in, we're acknowledging the person or the circumstance, the situation. Breathing out, we're feeling it. Then breathing in, we acknowledge what that thing brings to us. And breathing out, we're expressing gratitude for that. Okay. So I'm going to stop talking now, and we're just going to do this for a few minutes. Okay. I have a timer set for 5 minutes. All right. So I just want to spend 5 minutes trying to be grateful for something that on the surface seems a little difficult to us. All right. So I'm going to stop talking and start the timer, and so we can just practice this. right. Hopefully that was helpful. Now we're going to switch gears a little bit and do something that hopefully is a little less difficult, which is we're going to focus on something that is pleasing or pleasurable to us, something we're grateful for that is not a difficult situation or a difficult relationship or whatever, something that we are genuinely already grateful for. So maybe that's, you know, family, friends, could be the same stuff, could be your career, could be whatever, something that you're already grateful for. And we just want to spend a few minutes focusing on that and just again watering those seeds of gratitude that have already been planted. So again, we'll use the example of a relationship. Say it's your child. Okay. So the way it would work is, breathing in, I acknowledge my child, breathing out, I smile at my child, breathing in, I know that my child brings me joy, breathing out, I'm grateful for my child. And again, just insert whatever you are truly grateful for. And begin by breathing in and acknowledging that thing, breathing out and smiling at it, breathing in, naming what it does for you, breathing out, expressing gratitude for that thing. So, just like we did with the other, we're going to spend 5 minutes practicing this. Okay. So, I'm going to stop talking, start the timer, 5 minutes of cultivating gratitude. Okay. Hopefully that was beneficial. I hope this exercise today has helped you feel more grateful. And I want us to remember before we leave that not only are we watering these seeds in ourselves, we water these seeds in others as well. So keep that in mind as you're interacting with people, that we want to water these seeds of gratitude in us and in the people around us. I hope you have a good holiday. Be well. All right, we're going to go ahead.